Today is a very special day as we honour Hermann Müller and his passionate dedication to psychosomatics, the psychosomatic therapy process, and all the lives and hearts he has touched and changed through this experience. Hermann was born in Pune, India, to A.H. Müller and Gwendoline Bernadette Harley. His father was a famous early 20th century painter in India. The picture you can see on the screen was one of his paintings. Hermann's father was a quiet, contemplative, spiritual man, but also an artist in great demand. Hermann had two older sisters, Jem, Gwendoline Allen, and Winnie, Winifred Rose. At an early age, 9, Hermann went to Jaipur to attend the newly opened St. Xavier's School and boarded with a family until graduating in 1953. It was during his school years that his interest in sport was generated. He excelled in sports, loved team sports, especially soccer and field hockey, and also athletics. Hermann stayed on in St. Xavier's for 5 years as a teacher and also an athletics coach, studying the finer form of movement and the structure of the body for peak performance. He has drawn much inspiration from his foundation in this work. From 1958 to 1967, Hermann joined the tea plantations in Assam as an assistant manager at first, then manager. He was to meet his first wife, Alison, and married in 1963, and soon their daughters, Gillian and then Stacey, arrived. With a young family, it was decided to migrate to Australia, and in 1967, Hermann and his family moved to Papua New Guinea to manage copra and cacao plantations. Their new son Adrian was born here. After 6 years in Madang, his first marriage ended, and Hermann moved to barley plantations on an island off the Papua New Guinea coast. On barley plantation, Hermann's job was overseeing native men much larger than he, all having machetes to carry out their work on the plantation. Commanding respect, looking individuals in the eye, and being fair was essential to survival. Learning how to manage a large labour force in primitive conditions was character building. His ability to read people, their emotions, expressions, and body language became extremely heightened. It was on this island where he was to meet his second wife, Barbara. In 1978, Hermann moved to Mount Tamborine to live in Australia with his new wife. Here, 2 sons, Sean and Nicholas, were born. From 1978 to 1985, Hermann joined the Basel Stafford Intellectual Handicap Services, where he worked with the rehabilitation of young adults considered to be emotionally, physically, or mentally challenged. During these years of his life, he was amazed at how with love, compassion, and empowerment, these young people's lives changed, and they went from spending their days in bed to being able to look after themselves with assisted care. He pondered many hours on how life could have been for others who suffered from trauma and never reached their true potential or enjoyment of who they really are. This was a turning point for Hermann. He realised that if these individuals could change so much, what was the possibilities of individuals with a greater capacity, emotionally, physically, and mentally? This is when he really dedicated himself to exploring his spiritual journey. Hermann was drawn to the Eagle Heights Spiritual Centre on Mount Tamborine, and under the guidance of Elizabeth Kruger and her teacher Neil Gorman, he found his true calling in life. It was at this spiritual centre in 1987 where Mari Gorton entered Hermann's life, and she was to become his wife in March 1990. Guided by intuition and spiritual magnetism, Hermann and Mari have shared their lives' passions, empowering and transforming many lives along the way. They have co-created and hosted numerous trainings, such as the Living Soul Spiritual Retreat. They established the Harmony Body and Mind Healing Centre in December 1989. This beautiful place in Nerang, Queensland has been the home of many of their co-creations. We want to acknowledge behind every great man is a great woman. Mari supports, inspires and shines. In 1992-1993, Hermann had what seemed to be a major setback, losing 90% of his sight in both eyes. Having the words from his teacher and mentor echoing in his mind, "Hermann, all you need to know is already in you." He found a great doorway opened into his inner sight, self-assessment, and direction in life. During this time, the creation of the process of understanding the human body and the psychosomatic interaction with others began to clearly unfold. It was at this time that Hermann began to research every avenue possible that was available to him to discover catalysts for change. Hermann was seeking to create a somatic process to understand how our responses to our experiences shape our lives. The return of his sight enhanced his desire to spread and share his work even further. From this, the psychosomatic process was birthed, and with that came the creation of retreats for spiritual growth and connection. This was the moment of divine inspiration. Hermann wrote the guidance from the masters, which gave him much esoteric insights into the role that both the psyche and soul plays in the human experience. This is the source of the passion behind the grounded, systematic approach he developed to recognize a soul's potential in the human form. More than 2 decades on, Hermann has taught thousands of people, inspired and changed the lives of many not only by direct contact, but through the 65 plus graduates and teachers globally who continue to spread the knowledge and share his work. As each individual embodies the work, they in turn positively affect every person they connect with, and so continues the circle of life. The awareness of psychosomatics is growing at an exponential rate, as people are becoming more aware of the balance of body-mind connection. It is becoming the preferred path to healing and health. We wish to celebrate you, Hermann, as a pioneer, a teacher, a visionary and friend, the man who taught us how to transform. We look forward to your new work on how the psyche works with the somatic body to communicate with the sources of creation. We've heard you have put in a request for additional 79 years, so we hope they're listening up there. On behalf of us all, thank you for guiding us to our inner connection. We praise your dedication and inspiration. We love you.